Well, welcome everybody. My name is Rob Reinhold, and I'm the guy that's going to tell you why you suck as a trader. I've been a professional trader for almost 30 years now. I am the head trader for Maverick Trading. And about a decade ago, I was at a Traders Expo giving a speech, and I started out the speech exactly like this. I said, hey everybody, we're at this great summit. There's all this great software here. There's all this great education, but none of it's going to work because you suck. And I sat there in silence for about 5 seconds. And everyone's face is like, wow, I didn't expect this. And then I said, okay, look, understand, I suck too. My name is Rob, and let me tell you a little bit about myself. I'm a chronic overtrader. I can follow my rules about 9 out of every 10 times, but 1 out of the 10 times I can't do it. My biggest losses have always come after my biggest gains because at that point I'm so full of confidence and arrogance that I no longer believe in position sizing rules. Okay, again, this is a little bit of an AA meeting where, look, I suck too. There's all the things that we need to do to overcome this with trading psychology. One of the first things you need to understand of why you suck is the illusion of free will. Now, this is a controversial topic, and I remember when I first learned about this about 15 years ago, I didn't want to believe it. I'm a big believer in personal responsibility. I'm a big believer in the people that succeed, they made good choices, and the people that didn't succeed, they made poor choices. That was what I believed in. And so when I came across this theory, and it's not a theory, well, it's a theory in science, it has been proven, that we don't have as much free will as we think we do. I'm going to go through a couple ways where we just don't have as much decisions or free will as we think we do. And let's talk about predetermined choices. Back in the 70s, there was a very famous study called the Libé study. And they basically asked people to make a decision and say when they were going to make a decision. While they were doing this, they were measuring their brain activity, and they saw that before the people said they were going to make a decision, the decision had already been made before the prefrontal cortex could even get started. The prefrontal cortex is the part in your brain where you use logic and reason, and this is where you make your decisions that you think deeply about. All of these studies, the Libé study and lots of other studies after that, has shown that the brain makes a decision before the prefrontal cortex can actually get spooled up enough. Basically, our brains have pre-written programs. And it goes back to when the first time you touched a stove. The first time you touched a stove, you had no idea what a stove was. You didn't know what it was. But when it was hot, you touched that stove. For the rest of your life, you don't have to consciously think about a stove when you're around it because your brain has rewritten this program that says, hey, there's a stove there, don't touch it. You don't have to think about that anymore. And that's what the brain does. It takes all these processes and makes it to where it's pre-wired to where you make decisions before you actually think about it. In the world of trading, we have far less free will than we think. The decisions that we are most likely making have already been determined. And it's just like when you go to the doctor and it hits you with the hammer on the knee, guess what? Your leg moves. You don't think about it. It's reactive. It's reactive and you don't really even think about it. Let's talk about another part of the illusion of free will. Brain activity. So we talked about brain activity in the prefrontal cortex. That's the part where we use logic and reason. Well, they hooked up people to an MRI machine while they were playing the game of blackjack. Before there was any money on the line, most of the brain activity was in the prefrontal cortex. People were using logic and reason, and they were playing much better. Once they gave them money to bet, all of a sudden they saw that the activity in the prefrontal cortex was much less and other areas of the brain started to see brain activity, especially the insula that has our fight or flight response. Now again, that part of the brain is not about choice. It's about reaction. It's about these programs that we've already written to make a decision. It has shown that human beings, when put under risk, and loss of capital and money, they are not using the prefrontal cortex of the brain to make their decisions. So when you get into a point of stress, when you get to a point where your trade isn't working out, you are literally literally not using the part of your brain where you can use logic and reason. And let me throw one last thing in here. The illusion of free will is your personality. You were born with a personality, and based on the personality that you have, you're going to do certain things. We've had a trading personality test in Maverick Trading really since about 2004. And this is something we had all of our incoming traders take a trading personality test first before they got started in anything else. Because your trading system must be built around who you are. We released this to the public about 2 or 3 years ago. I'm going to put a link up in the top right of this video to where you can click on it. It's a free test. Go ahead and take the test. It's based on the Myers-Briggs personality profile. But I can already tell you, if you give me your trading personality profile, I'll tell you exactly what you do wrong. I've been doing this long enough. I've seen it. For example, I am an extrovert. I'm a very strong extrovert. I like to be busy. I like activity. I love concerts. I love loud music. I love stimulus. It is impossible for a person like me to get into trading and not be an overtrader. Now, when I got into trading, I didn't know that. I had no idea about this. And I kept telling myself, hey, idiot, why don't you just stop trading? You're overtrading. You know it. But I literally couldn't stop. That's what you're facing here. The illusion of free will. So what I'm basically saying is, it's not your fault. It's literally not your fault. But even when people understand this, they say, you know what? I just need more discipline. I just need more discipline. That's the answer. And then you fail at it. And you say, okay, well, don't overtrade, and you fail at it. Or you say, don't move your stop, and you fail at it. And what happens is you beat yourself up. And you think that to solve this problem, you have to have more discipline. Well, here's the problem. You won't ever get it done. And that is really where the process starts with trading psychology and actually fixing this, is once you completely understand and to say, I'm screwed. I have a lot of flaws. I'm screwed. How in the world am I going to make it in this world of trading as a trader if I have these biases, if I have these deficiencies that I literally can't fix? Well, let me just give you one solution here. It's much easier to change systems than to change yourself. You can change yourself. I am one of those examples. I have gone through a lot of deep thought, deep introspection, trying to change things about myself to make myself a better trader. And they've been very helpful throughout my life. But the best way to do it is to change your systems. This video is not going to be about how to build your trading system. This is about how to get to the point where you no longer beat yourself up, where you no longer fight against yourself, to where you actually can trade in spite of all of your bad traits. You need to develop a personalized trading system. I highly recommend you start with our trading personality test. You take it, and it will tell you, here's what your strengths or weaknesses. If you've traded for any amount of time, you're going to see that, that you already knew those were your strengths and weaknesses. Your personalized trading plan should implement guardrails knowing that you're going to fail. For me as an overtrader, when I stopped trying to not overtrade and I just let myself trade, it was wonderful. Now look, I had to put guardrails on, and I definitely put guardrails on about when I could do it and what were the times I could do it. But during those times, I could do whatever I wanted because I tried all the other things and I never was able to not overtrade. So understand, hey, this is who I am. I'm going to fail at this every single time. How can I build a system that instead of just discipline is actually going to fix this for me? One of the reasons that I fell in love with options trading was that I had a hard time 1 out of 10 times taking my loss. And so 1 out of 10 times I decide, hey, I didn't want to take this loss. I'm pretty convinced I'm right. I don't want to get stopped out. So I would lose more because of that. And those would turn into my big losses. When I got into options, I now position size everything for max loss. Meaning, if this trade goes to zero, the most I can lose is $500, or the most I can lose is 1%, to where I no longer even had to fight that battle of should I move my stop or not? Should I get out or not? There is no decision. When I buy an option spread and I price it for max risk, I never get out of it. I don't care what's going on. And here's the cool thing. In the days where there's really bad volatility and the market plunges and all the people are getting stopped out, or all the people say, I can't take it anymore, and I bail on it, I'm fine. I'm fine. I've got my max loss in, and sometimes those trades come right back up and I make money on them where everyone else took a loss because they either panicked or got stopped out. Build your system. Make it to where you don't have to fight those battles. And you strive for consistency, not profit. I've said for years, consistency beats intelligence every time. I tell all of my recruiters, I'm not looking for the smartest people at Maverick Trading. I'm looking for the most consistent in the people that can follow rules and manage risk. Go find me those people. I don't care how smart they are. I want consistency. As I said earlier, look, this video is not about teaching you where to go from here. I've given you a little bit of tips. I'll give you a little bit more. But I hope this video has helped you understand you don't need to beat yourself up anymore. You don't have to hate yourself that you can't follow your rules. You don't have to feel ashamed or embarrassed. You're screwed. You're flawed. You are terrible. You suck. And the sooner that you recognize that you suck, you can then finally start to fix the problem. We focus a lot on trading psychology over at Maverick Trading, and we've released a handful of our trading psychology videos onto our YouTube channel. So go to our YouTube channel, go down to our playlists, go find our trading psychology playlist, and you'll see that we've got a decent amount of stuff. If you're having a hard time with undertrading, there's a video about it. If you're having a hard time with confirmation bias, we have a video about it. We've got these videos to help you figure out why is it you do what you do and how you can actually fix it. So admit you suck, embrace it, and go out and try to figure out how you're going to trade in spite of it. Goodbye, everybody.
At Maverick Trading, we believe trading psychology is where we can make the most difference, where we take amateur traders to professional traders. Check out our trading psychology playlist on YouTube to see how we train our traders.